Now I'm up to rewiring the Epidiascope as well as servicing the motor. Now interestingly, it uses 2-core wire in the 2-core cable in the power cord, but it's got 3-core in the actual wiring on the inside, so I'll have to figure out about that. So that'll be interesting. Motor needs servicing. I don't know what I'm going to do about the belts. I'll see if I can find anything, I don't know where. And if I can't, I'll just use rubber bands or something. As for the wiring, fortunately we have a huge tub of flex. And no, I'm not just flexing on you. Oh, that's so dumb. Anyway, got a huge tub full of wires. So I'm sure I've got some power cords. Now this is 3-core, but I might use that and see if I can earth the thing. Or figure. I'll see. Anyway, I'll pull out all the wiring before I actually decide what I'm going to use. But yeah, I've got plenty of wires. I'll probably use this for the internal wiring. Oh, that's odd. Why is there a squashed matchbox in here? And even stranger, why is there a single match in it? This is like those movies where they have to light something and they've got one match and they have to get it to work. So what is this? A setup for one of those? Anyway, I'll put it back. I'm sure there's a reason. Probably not. But we'll get back to actually wiring the thing. Or first, pulling out the wires, the current wires, so I can figure out how I'm going to wire it up. The first thing I have to do is remove this fitting, because the power cord enters from outside into this. Now, I have no idea how to, especially because it's got the wires, the cable twisted all around it. But I'm guessing this is part of it. Oh. Well, there you go. That means these things are meant to turn for some reason. This one looks very dirty though. I think I'll be giving this thing a clean. Giving it a good scrub. But yeah. And that's like some sort of a hard rubber or something. Anyway, that's interesting. I don't know why it turns though. I don't know why they did that, because the other fitting doesn't have that at all, and it looks the same, looks through the same design. Anyway, I'm going to spend a bit of time trying to figure out how this thing works, and if I can just slip these cables off and then unscrew this or something, or if I have to do something else. Okay, there we go. So we've got 2 loops around there, and that fitting just screws on, so I can show it better. There you can see this fitting was screwed on. This is what this light bulb fixture fits onto. It fits onto this top bit. Then there's 2 twists of the wire, as you can see, and it hooks around here, around this pulley, goes through there, and then hooks under this pulley. But I'll just slip that there for now, like that. And then I can get to this, hopefully get to these screws easily, and remove the fitting. So the screws have been removed. They're actually attached with a bolt to the underside, which is very annoying, but there we go. And it's just got some wires going to it. Oh, can't see. There, how about there's just some wires to it, and it does cover the cable coming in. There, so we've got the cable going in, and it goes into that box there. Oh, and this wire is escaping again. I hope I don't forget how this wire goes. I described it on video at least, but yeah, that's going to be annoying if I forget it. But yeah, you can see that it's just wires come in, there's a little junction box or something there, and there's this switch, which is up there, and then there's just lots of wires. So I'll see if I can get that out. I'll just undo the switch and pull out the cord and all that sort of thing. So I have removed the switch and all that, and you can see the power cord comes in here, and it connects straight into the light from here. And then we've got the switch. This is where we've got the 3 wires, which is interesting. We've got a black wire here, got the red here, and we've got what seems to have been a white cable, and that's the one that's switched. Now, I'm just calling them by colours because I have no idea what's supposed to be active or neutral or whatever, because it looks like the active comes in this side, but then you've got the black, which was normally neutral, here. So, who knows? And you've got red and white. Normally red and white are both active, and they're usually used when you're having multiple light switches for the same light or something. Oh, and there's one other thing that I just spotted. I wonder if this is the screw for the lens. In which case that'd be very neat, because otherwise I was going to have to go find a screw for it. I don't know if it is. It does fit the hole. It does fit the slot. So we'll see if it fits the screw hole in the lens, because that would be very neat, because it's very beautiful. That's one less thing I have to sort out. But yeah, I can also now clean up that area a bit better, because this fitting was in the way. And yeah, it is definitely designed to turn. Just really weird. And yep, there's just some contacts there. Oh, not contacts, connectors, sort of screw terminals. There we go. Finally got the right word. Got some terminals. This has been cut down. So the other one, I think. But yeah, but they're designed to turn, which is interesting. But I'll give all these contacts a clean. But yeah, and I'm going to reuse these ceramic things because they last forever. And you can see this one's been taped over. This one actually looks like it was taped over, but the tape has come off. So I'll make sure to tape over them with modern electrical tape, because I don't have the friction tape, I think it's called. Which really, I think friction tape's pretty neat. It seems to do almost a better job than some electrical tape. But we'll see. I'll just use electrical tape to go over these. But first I'm just going to have to figure out how on earth this works, because that is a weird way to wire stuff up. Maybe I'm thinking this switch is for maybe the lights, whereas the motor's always on, so you can't turn it off and then cause a fire or something. That's what I'm thinking. That maybe this is just for lights, and that's because it's the same brand as this switch, so they are potentially put on at the same time, which would be original, wouldn't it? Unless this thing didn't have a switch originally, which is quite possible. You just had to use the PowerPoint switch. But yeah. I'm going to have to figure out how this works, because it's bizarre. And I may have to keep that switch there, which that wouldn't be too bad. I just use the black cable then and put that in, and might just, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to earth. Oh, actually, I think I can earth this if I can be bothered. I probably won't, even though it's not very safe to not earth it. But I just don't feel like it. It's been fine for 70, 80. Actually, wow, I'd be nearing 80, 90 years at this point, this thing is, and it's been fine, so probably not going to earth it, but we'll see. I've opened up the left light bulb socket, and I've noticed that there's a plus and minus sign on the terminals, which is very unusual. Normally light bulbs aren't polarized, so I wonder if this was, I don't know, designed to also work with DC or something. Not that that would matter for a light bulb anyway, so who knows? Maybe it's just an odd way of saying active and neutral. I think that might be it. It's just, yeah, normally you'd have A and N, but who knows? Anyway, I'll get to trying to figure out how this thing works, because yeah, the 3 wire situation is odd. So as you can see, the motor and fans are in dire need of a cleaning. Yay, more cleaning. Cleaning this weird white powdery stuff. I wonder if it's plaster or something. Anyway, yep, motor's stiff. Interestingly, there's a socket here, that's quite neat, so I'll see if I can unplug that. And looking at these wires, they look really good to me. They all look nice. I wonder if are they rubber? If they're rubber, then they've lasted very well compared to everything else. And the belts, they're already broken. Already went and covered that. But if I just slide that, there we go. Oh, it's not polarized, so it shouldn't matter at all which way you plug it in. Even each side even looks the same. But yeah, there we go. And I'll get to servicing the motor at some point. But that makes rewiring a lot easier. I just need to wire from here. So I'll undo that now. Oh, and looking at this, it looks like this is actually for controlling the motor. Not because it's certainly not connected to the lights. So I don't know what that's all about. I suppose I'll figure it out. Oh, and there was rubber stuff here which has gone hard, maybe to stop vibrations. I'm probably not going to bother replacing any of that. Okay, I've been going through the wiring, seeing how it's sort of laid out, and well, I've been using a multimeter to see where some of the wires go, because it's a little confusing, but I think I figured it out. Now, how it works, I'll just get my, here it is. Here's my schematic that follows no real standard or anything, but you can see you've got your active and neutral. I had to swap it around because for some reason it's swapped. I don't know why they did that. No, actually, I don't know why they put the switches all in the switch in the neutral. Anyway, how it works is you've got the first ceramic. So you've got the wires coming to that first ceramic sort of connector, and you end up with some wires straight off the power cord goes to the right lamp. So that lamp is always on when this unit is plugged in. And the wires on the other end, there's 3. So you've got red and black, which goes to the next connector uninterrupted, and white, which goes to the next connector with a switch in it. Now, red and black are then connected to the motor, which is for the fan, so that is also always on when this unit's plugged in, whereas white and black go to the left lamp, which has the switch in it, so you can turn off the left lamp. And now, so this switch is for the left light, which actually makes sense. I was thinking there might be some mechanism to turn it off, because this lamp's only needed when you're projecting a picture here. If you're using the slide projector, you don't need the light here shining only onto this, because this light here goes up through the top. So it makes perfect sense. And the one thing is, I wonder if it's a modification as well, because it's the same. For one thing, it's the same brand as the on-off switch, and this weird thing with the pulley system wrapping around this light, the right fitting, makes me think that there might have been some sort of mechanism as a switch, because otherwise I don't see why on earth you'd do that. I think that might have originally been a switch for this light, but it has failed at some point, and so this has been botched in as a sort of switch. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to see again. I have to look again at some pictures to see if this thing is on other ones or if this is a later modification. And yeah, I will be using that switch then, because that's the power switch. And besides that, I've got some wire that I think I know what sort of cord I'm going to use now. But yeah, there you go. It's a very weird layout, but it makes sense now. It's just that for some reason someone made a mistake and wired it wrong here. But I will rectify that when I rewire everything. So now we're actually getting to the wiring up of this thing. And you can see I've grabbed some cables from the box. I've got a 2-core and a 3-core cord, wire, whatever, cable. Now the one thing I don't like is that this thing has, it's the usual house wiring stuff. It's got active, neutral and earth. This thing doesn't have earth, it has 2 active, so I'm going to have to use the earth wire as an active, which there's not much I can do about it. I'm not going to go and buy some expensive cord that's got 2 actives in it, and I don't want to just be taping different cords up and making a mess of this thing. I'm going to write on it to make it very clear to anyone else who ever works on this thing that the earth is not actually earth, and I'm going to be keeping this. It's not like I'm selling it, so I'm going to know, and everyone else will if they actually read what it says on it. But anyway, we'll get to the wiring up of the thing. So, let's see. I think we'll start with the left light. So yeah, we'll start with the left light here. And a good trick, I'm not sure if it works on the 2-core as well, is that you just sort of push up like that, and it pulls open. It's not focusing, is it? But it, yeah, it rips open the insulation so you can get to it. Now I've put the fixture somewhere. Oh, there it is. So you need to get off enough insulation that you can actually get to it. I've pulled off way too much, absent-mindedly, so I'll just trim it here. And then I'll be stripping some wire anyway, so no, maybe it'll be enough. It's usually easier to just use a scissors to do this, but I forgot to bring scissors out. Anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's going to be covered over. So actually no, I haven't stripped too much at all, it's perfectly fine. And now first we're going to want to see what the original one had, because again I'm just recreating what they've done. And yep, I'll strip a bit more because then you have to twist it. And now a good way to strip wire, with just some combination pliers, you just go like that, do not clamp too tightly, and there you go. If you clamp too tight, if you press down too tightly, you'll just cut the wire. What you're doing is just scraping off the insulation, ideally not even marking the copper, because that can damage it. You don't want to damage the conductors, that'll lead to increased resistance. But yeah, and now they're a bit longer, and then you twist them so that it makes a nice connection. And these actually are a little thinner than the original cables, it looks like. But I think these cables are copper. Those ones look like aluminium or something, which is not as good a conductor. So you need to have more. But anyway, I'll be trimming these down. First I'll just make sure they actually fit, because I know these aren't standard sort of connectors that you see now. Yeah, that'll certainly fit, but I definitely need to trim them down. They are way too long. We want to go to about that length, because you don't want any of the wire sticking out. You want it to all be insulated. Just basic things. And of course, going to put the active in the active and the neutral in the neutral, or at least plus and minus here, which I still think is weird. And then just tighten the terminal. There we go. That's very nice. So now that this is wired up, I can work on this end where it connects to the motor. Now I did actually put this in, but it turns out it makes it a lot harder to work on, so I'm not doing that now. And you can see the connections are all very good. But anyway, I'll get to, because we've got this, and the cover needs to reach, and I'll just get a marker so I can mark the length that I need. So we want it to be exactly the same, and it reaches about here. Now of course you need some more wire, so I'm going to cut it around here, and that gives me more space in case I need to, well, then strip the wire, trim it down, yeah, twist it up, trim it down, all that sort of thing. So then we'll go about there, and I'm going to use the rest. This other piece will actually get used for the motor bit, or at least part of that. Yep. It'd be funny if it's the wrong length now, wouldn't it? Anyway, again, it's just the same thing as before. Like that, and then with the thumb, push up. Pretty easy. And I won't go so far at first. Like that. Now, first I'm going to remove this wire. Got the upper terminal. The upper terminal is the white wire, the middle is the active. Well, they're both there. So we've got the white active, the red active, of course. Fortunately, these are very nice, thick ceramic, so it didn't smash from that small drop. Should be more careful. Anyway, and you can see the wire. Oh, actually, that is weird. The red's at the top. Oh yeah, because we were talking about colours here. Whoever wired this up did a terrible job. None of the colours match anything. The whole thing about wiring things up is you make it nice and clear what does what. Atrocious. Anyway, the switch is going to be the top wire, I think. Well, let's see. Oh, I can see why they wired it weirdly. Because they didn't want to have two actives, I think. I think that's why. But you know what? I'm just going to follow how you're supposed to do it, and have the switches have the switch breaking the active and all. Anyway, I'm going to strip this wire as well. So what you do, it's the same thing. It's actually a lot easier with the larger wire. This camera, yep, there we go, it's focused now. And you just, like that. And that again gets the outer layer off. Nice and easy. And I realise I've gotten ahead of myself a little, because I still need to do that one, but oh well. Alright. Oh my. Probably did not need much of this wire exposed at all. I'll just use electrical tape, that's what they did previously. A little bit more for the red wire, because you want to get them about even. That's close enough. And now, I'll put that off to the side. Now for the motor section. Now that was a tiny little scrap. About this length. And it did go to the middle wire, which is the unswitched active, and to the neutral, which, well, that's what I'm calling them now. Anyway. So I've prepared the bit for the motor, and you can see we've got 3 wires in the original one, well, 3 wires sticking out, and what I want is to have these two, so I'll trim them to the right length, but I'm going to have the neutral and neutral, which are white here, together, and the actives are going to be separate, because again, we've got these ones coming in here, and these ones coming here. Now first I'm going to thread this in, because I realised I already fitted the light bulb, so I have to thread this into the fixture, and then I'll twist it all together. So this goes in here. And it just slides in. Again, it would be easier to do it the other way, but I'm not undoing this, even though it would be a lot easier and make more sense. I'm stupid. Anyway, that fits in nicely there, and since I'm not going to be taking it out after that, I will just screw on the cover. I hope not to be taking that out. And there we go. Oh, the collar there. The collar is fitted, and now I need to connect the motor part up. So I can already twist the active wire up, because there's no reason, because that's not going to go to anything else. It's going to go straight into the terminal, and I'll probably fold it over. Oh, no, actually these terminals are not like the things you see for house wiring now. They're a lot finer in their openings, which I like that, because most terminals you get now are so big. Okay, and we'll trim it about there. And the same for this active one. Just twist it, and then that'll go in its switched part, in the switched wire, in the switched active, which is the top wire. So there we go. I'll make it the same length. So about there. Let's see the hole. Oh, it'd be hilarious if this doesn't fit through the hole, wouldn't it? Well, guess what? The rubber outer layer does not fit through the hole. That's not too much of a problem. That is not too much of a problem, because I will still have, let's see. Only a very small portion was in, so I'm just going to end up using this as just builder's wire, building wire. So I have to cut away most of this because it just doesn't fit, so it's just going to be single insulated, which should be fine in this. It's all in a... This would not meet modern wiring standards for something you're going to sell now, but it didn't meet it before either. The whole thing is a big metal thing that's unearthed. So it's not like I'm making it any worse than it was before. If anything, I might be making it slightly better by at least having consistent colours. Maybe not correct colours, but at least consistent colours. So we're going to go to about there. And if I need any more, I'll just use electrical tape to tape everything back together. Because the connector here, it requires me to twist the cords through this shape. Now let's see if these cables are as malleable as the old ones. Sometimes they aren't. And I think I've cut away the right amount. As you can see, there's a little bit more for it to go inside, but it's not like there's a huge amount left over. There. That fits nicely. I think I'll just wire this up. I'll just connect this up. So... I may fold these over. Yes, I will be folding it over because it turns out that it slams it. It's an odd design. It's a very odd design in that it's sort of the connector, the prongs just go straight in, just about all the way in. So there's not much space for the wire, which is interesting. Let's see if they still fit. Yeah, with the screws undone a little. There we go. Then just tighten the screw. Into the connector. Oh, I think those are actually the cutouts for them. Oh, well, I'll have to twist them in a little then. Yeah, it'll fit. That's not coming out. And then we'll do the same for the neutral terminal. And from what I remember of the setup, the active one went at the top and the neutral cable was at the bottom. Not that it really matters. But, well, I doubt it would matter. Oh. Okay, let's see if I can get this in at the right. There we go. This connector is actually a very annoying design, trying to squeeze everything in. I'll be a minute. Well, there we go. That is the connector now sort of put together. And then this cover goes on top. And let's see if I can line it up properly. And I'll screw this back on and I'll put electrical tape around all this. Okay, so I have completed that. I had to just completely give up on both the outer rubber insulation and just the electrical tape in general because it didn't let it fit. It simply would not fit. So I'm going to connect the neutrals together now. First I'll clip them to the right length. It's supposed to be the same length when you twist them together. Now, I don't remember exactly the length they're supposed to be when you twist them together. I'm just going to hope this is the right length. Oh well. We shall see. Now, we'll do it that way because I remember that the lamp one needs to be on top. As in, the active for the light needs to be on top for that switch. Let's see how it's going. It's going alright. Okay, so there we go. It looks quite nice now. I actually had to redo it because the camera was in the way and I couldn't really see what I was doing and it was all sort of wonky. But now it's all neat. And then I'm going to take this connector off and put it onto the new wire. So there we go, that's connected up, and I'm just going to tape it up as best as I can to make it nice and neat. So there you go, I've sorted that out, taped it all nice and neatly, and now we're going to get to, oh come on, why does it zoom out so slowly now? But anyway, we're going to get to wiring this part up, the other section. Now, I'm going to actually start with the switch end because I stripped so much here that I think, yeah, I'm only going to strip a little bit for that section there. But for here, we'll have a bit more peeled away. If I can find, oh, they're in there. But yes, I'm just going to cut this and start working on it. Oh, that's a much better angle, isn't it? Took me way too long to think of that. Anyway, let's see. First I'll open this up so I can see how much to strip for these terminals. Okay, there we go. I don't know. I'm terrible with doing measurements with just without a ruler. But it's not that much here. Oh, this wire is much stiffer. It really is. There we go. Now this will go to the switch instead. Let's have a look at this. Oh, that's an interesting way of attaching it. They just sort of looped the wire around the screw. I'm probably not going to attach it that way, but I'm not sure how else to attach it looking at it. It's a really weird... Yeah, that's just weird. I'm going to struggle with all these wires to do something like that. Yeah, with all these strands. I know what I'll do. Let's just strip a little bit more. There, and I'm going to sort of split it in half, put the screw in, and sort of twist it around the screw. It's very hard to show. I'm not particularly happy with this, but I honestly have no idea how else to do it. It is such an odd design. I wonder if this is really designed for this sort of wires. Oh well, I am going to use it, so first I'll trim that. Let's see if I can even get it to screw in. I'll have to see if I can flatten this out first. Yeah, I'm thinking this switch isn't original because this means, having this switch like this means you don't have live cables exposed. Now I am going to wrap this in electrical tape. So yeah, I really do suspect this of being the work of someone modifying it or repairing it. rather than an original design, because it's just pretty terrible. But there we go. And one bit is already escaping, because again, this is not designed to hold this many strands. Oh well, if it was able to cope. Yeah, if I had some spare switches, I would replace them and all that, but I don't. This is what I've got, and I'm going to use it. And then for the other side, I'm just going to... I've got a small piece of wire here, and I'm going to use... well, I've got a... It's sort of big-ish, but I'm just going to use this as the connecting. I'm tempted to just reuse the original one, but no, I want it to be insulated. I want it to be obvious it's active. Again, put the screw in, and then sort of twist around it. And it's raining now, so you can enjoy the sound of that now as well. Because yeah, I'm outside and it's a tin roof veranda, so enjoy that. I'm not stopping though, because it's raining nice and downwards so far. And as I said that, the rain just increased. Oh well, whoever has a sense of humour. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use the original wire. Because this is not safe. It's actually safer to just use the original stuff. And you know what? I've got red electrical tape, so I'll get them. Okay, well, I found red electrical tape. And actually, I also found yellow electrical tape, which is probably more suitable for this job, and it should be wrapped all over it, because this is just an all-out, just all complete danger. There we go. No, I'm going to use some red electrical tape on the original bit of wire, because it's better. It actually feels safer than using the new piece. Oh, great. I'm doing this off game. Well, the rain's calmed down, and do you think this large patch of red will give everyone an idea that this is a very dangerous bit to point at? Well, you probably shouldn't be messing with this much when it's on anyway, apart from putting, I don't know, something into the slide and back, or into the slide area and back. But yeah, there we go. I think that's all right, and I'll get to wiring everything else up. And I'm aware that I put it upside down. But there, it's twisted and it's now fine. But now I'm going to connect up, because this here will go to the earth. It's still a painful thought. But oh well, there's enough. Again, thanks to whoever designed this thing, designed this thing with this weirdness. There's not much I can do except buy fancy wire, and I'm not doing that. And the rain's back. Oh, what a delight. I suppose it heard me being happy it was stopped, and decided that just wouldn't do. So the wire, it's actually about the right length, so I'm going to keep it like that. And then time to twist it all together into one big safety hazard. But isn't it just a delightful looking safety hazard? And I'm going to put a little bit more red tape on it, because as you know, you can't have too much red tape. Cue all the property developers being sad, which I'm very which would just make me more happy. So anyway, more red tape. I'm actually trying to do as much on the camera as possible, as opposed to, well, as opposed to having it like this. Yeah, so you can see all my beautiful work knot. Anyway, there. Actually, I'm not sure if you want to see my work, but you have to. You've clicked on it, and now you have to watch the whole thing, because otherwise you'll feel guilty if you don't watch it all. Anyway, there we go, and twist it all back all together, and then I can wire this up. Well, then I have to do the other end, sort out the other end. I seem to be very good at setting up just about the worst lighting for my videos, but anyway, here we go, and now it's time to cut this cord to length. Now you can see that I only need... Ooh, I forgot this thing, yeah, good I'm replacing this because this is just crumbling and cracking and snapping. Anyway, we need up to here, so I'll just put a little mark, I'll give myself a little extra there, and then plus a little bit more. So I'm going to go up to here for my extra cable. And of course it won't cut all the way. Maybe I should have used wire cutters. Cut fine. Come on. There we go. That's how you cut. Anyway, there. And then just simply stripping it and getting it right. I've given myself way too much cable. Doesn't really matter. That other scrap was probably never get used anyway. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of scrap wire. But you're better off having a little bit more scrap than having not enough wire. Besides, I think I'll fit this in just temporarily to see how I'm doing. Funny if this doesn't go in, won't it? There we go. And you can see plenty of space. This will curve like this. And yeah, I've given myself more than enough. And I think now's as good a time as any to write my warning on the wire, rather than potentially forgetting or having to write on it while it's in there. We're going to go, let's see, it's going to be earth, wire, is live. And you know what? I'll put the triangle with the... Oh, that didn't go so well. There. Warning. There. Hopefully people will notice that. And you know what? I'm going to put it on the other side too. And I'm going to write warning this time. Warning. Wire is live. Hopefully people will notice that. And they won't try and earth this thing, because that will turn it into... you probably won't die unless you... Well, I suppose unless you're unfortunate to the first thing, grip the handle. Get a firm grip on it. Anyway, there we go. The warning has been set up. Okay, and you can just tape up the... I'll cut it at length first. And then, as it was on the other one, and I presume on this one, just tape over these exposed screws so that no one puts their finger in them or anything. Which I think is a very good idea. There we go. That looks very neat. And I don't know, I might stop here Yeah, when I do the power cord, I have to remember to also do the light. I'm actually going to leave the original wires because they're in really good shape. And yeah, I actually if I used modern stuff, I'd have to either use that 2-bit stuff, the 2-wire stuff, or use the single insulated. So I'm going to stick with this.